Hey, my name is Chan Stedman. I live in Victoria, BC, and this is my van. So it's a 1996 Ford Econoline that was converted into a club wagon, which means it has a steel top, which is very uncommon. I usually deal with like fiberglass tops, which is great. This is great. So it was converted to a certain point. I think a company got a hold of it and it did like a very basic conversion. So it had furnace installed and propane was already connected and all that stuff. And also I want to mention that it did have like a propane conversion before me. So the whole unit runs on propane, which is really interesting. I haven't had any like gas improvements at all, which I thought it would be better on gas, which it's very similar, to be honest, if you're ever looking into like propane. It runs really clean. Your engine will probably last a lot longer on propane, which is great. Yeah, come on in. So, as you can see, this has a lot of wood in it. So I really went for the natural style. So it's like pretty much like 90% cedar in here. So you can really get the smell of it's kind of like a sauna smell, which is really cool. It used to be an old handy dart. So it has like an escape hatch and high doors as well, which is cool. I think they used to have a wheelchair accessible ramp, which was removed at the conversion. And that conversion also gave me the ability to have another battery in the front, so it has 3 batteries. I used to power all the auxiliaries, like certain lights and things like that. So now it's a bonus that I have an extra battery, Yeah, so what I was saying is very natural accents. I used some live edge wood a bit everywhere. I have oak over here, and I have yew wood, which is an extremely dense and hard wood. I feel like it really like wrapped it up nice with the accents. So yeah, here we got kind of like our first little control part where you got a 12-volt connection here where you can plug a little inverter there, like you can buy for like $25 anywhere. That allows you to power and charge off of that, and that's connected to the second battery in the back. Here you got some outlets which only function if you're plugged in, which I'll show you later. If you plug into a house or wherever, then you could use these. Here you have your pump, so your water pump allows for circulation through the van. And here actually privileged enough to have a hot water tank in this one. So it's my first time dealing with hot water tanks, which is really good for the outdoor shower that was installed. So that's great. And that runs off propane. And moving on here, we have a built-in kind of 2-burner stovetop, which is great. It runs on propane, like the whole thing is on propane, so I just have to do like 1 fill up and I'm good. Here, I decided to, since there was so many windows in this van, I decided to do one that was kind of like a wall covering, which allowed me some privacy, but also I can open that up quite easily. And I didn't want too many curtains either in the van. I already have enough. So here you got some opening and possibly can hang some art here. And then when it folds down, it would have some art on the outside possibly. I was kind of looking into that. And another option, if anybody's curious, could be using kind of like a cable or something to hang this from the ceiling, and it could create possibly another shelf. So that could be a cool idea for someone to do. Here I have a sink. So this one runs with the water pump, and it has a storage container. I'm not sure of the exact liters in there. I would assume probably 20 to 30 liters. and just very basic plumbing, which goes straight to the street. One modification you could do would be putting a gray tank there. There's definitely a room. I just decided that most of my traveling, it'll be fine to just be going to the street or campsite or wherever. So as you can see, it works really great, and then the pump kicks on. So it'll kick on, and then you stop, it runs a bit, and then it'll stop when it's pressurized. I decided to put a stopper in there because I thought it looked good. So you can keep water in there if you're doing small dishes and things like that. Here I have a cutting board that I wanted to integrate in there. I thought it looked good aesthetically, so you can cut your veggies on there. And one luxurious thing in here is that I have a garden. So it's built out of 8 mason jars that screw in and out. So I have fresh basil and like a little strawberry plant in here, and a few succulents and chives. You can see how it's done underneath here. There's some mason jars and some more storage. And I'll open this up for you too. So there's ample space for my battery, which controls basically all my lights, the pumps, and the fridge if I need. Practical knife holder, magnet knife holder. It's super good for that. I also have a battery monitor here, which is convenient. You can check your voltage, your percentage of charge. Here I have some more storage in the corner, which I was thinking about possibly putting a composting toilet there, but I just thought it was very crammed. It wouldn't be that convenient. So I opted with no bathroom or toilet in this van. There wasn't much space for the build. So I just used it for storage. And right next to it we have a fridge, which runs on propane and also on the second battery. Below it you got your furnace, and you got all your fuses for the electrical system, and just a little storage there too. Kind of a workspace here. You can chop more vegetables here, or you can do like some kind of craft or drawing here, I'm assuming. I actually have 3 drawers underneath the bed, which is extra space for storage. It's not super accessible, but you can definitely put like socks and stuff in there. And there's 2 more that open this way. So basically it's just a little slide out system. Very basic, so there's no need for hinges or anything. Just 2 little grooves that slide out. And there's also 2 legal seat belts in here. And I have 2 clips here that will just slip in, and it kind of locks it in. So that will go in there, and then I'll just fold this down like that. And it easily sleeps 2. I've actually had like some of my best sleeps in this van. For some reason, like these mattresses are just great. And also I guess it's just the fresh air. But yeah, this bed has been great for me, for sure. So here I just thought it was kind of open space on the side, so I decided to do this little cabinet. And I just put this little curtain here, so the storage that goes all the way to the back here. And I integrated a light that's off the second battery on the bottom here. So that's just a dimmable light. It runs off the 12 volts. Also, which is really handy, you got your furnace control. When you're sleeping, you want some heat, it's pretty accessible. And also more storage in the front here. So I got these oak boards that I just made this little ferry door, and quite a bit of storage in there too. And then I have 2 lights that are integrated in the shelf system here, and they both work off the battery as well. Kind of easy access when you enter the vehicle. They're right handy for you. All right, so the outside, I really like the height on this one. You can stand like 6'1", 6'2" in here. It's quite comfortably. And there's the bonus of having an outdoor shower on this one. So the hot water tank will power it, and the pump will pressurize it. And you got your controls here. Let's try it out. I haven't tried it out yet, so. It's good enough, I guess, eh? Cool. It'll give you some cleaning. Okay, and then here is where you fill your tank. And then you also have the capacity to plug in from a house, a pressurized system, which you won't need your pump anymore. It'll just pressurize your system through the water service. We've got your plug-in which will allow you to plug into your house. So I really like this van if you want to like park it to someone's house. This is like would be amazing. Here's your fridge control, and also another outlet. If you are plugged in, you could use that as well. That's kind of it. This thing has like 3 propane tanks. One here that kind of feels like a regular car, and they allow you to do it as well. You can go to the gas station and do it yourself. It's like a big gun that you just put on there, and it works really well. And I would say like about 1 out of 5 gas stations have a propane hookup. So there's one thing you have to really like be aware if you're doing long distance traveling. You have to like find out where the propane installs are. So that's one of the downfalls of this thing, but it does run really well and clean with the propane. So yeah, no big issues with that so far. Yeah. So the van was kind of like abandoned a bit by someone, and it was an old handy dart that was converted into, to me, a non-acceptable camper van. One thing I really like about creating spaces is the aesthetic and the comfort and the beauty of it, and making people feel comfortable. So how it was before, it was just very gray, very plastic, very, I would call it soulless. And my main goal was to bring beauty and creativity to it, and really create an experience for someone to be able to spend like longer periods of time comfortably, and make sure it's inviting for their friends, and maybe even inspire them to be more creative and go towards that. My main reason of creating vans would be for my self-expression. That's a really big one for me, is working with my hands and being able to create just whatever comes through my mind. And if I have really specific visuals in my mind, and it's a good challenge for me to be able to accomplish it in the real life and less in my head only. Like I mentioned, mostly just creating very nice spaces for people, creating nests for comfort, and also allowing them to see that it's accessible, and they don't have to dive into the conversions themselves. And it's kind of like a plug and play, go adventure. Like, here's the keys. Like, there's nothing to worry about. Just go. And there's less research for them possibly to create the build themselves. So it's allowing them an easier access to van life. It's a lot of trial and error. Like spending a few years in a van, you really know how to utilize your space. In this one, I let the corridor be open, because I can also use it as, my friend wants to move the mattress, I'm going to throw a mattress in there. It's not blocked off, so you can still use it as a utility vehicle. I put wood in there, so that was one key that I learned from. Yeah, and layouts and storage capacity. It's I think I've relied on my skills and experiences a lot in this one. Knowing that I do need a sink, knowing that I do need to be standing upright. And the standing up was very important to not feel claustrophobic. Knowing that I have a fold-out bed, so to save space. Things like that is really important, yeah. Van life means freedom in a way, but also I really enjoy the situations that it puts you in. It really like throws you where you need to be in your human experience. If you need a certain lesson, it'll show you like really quick usually. If it's either through like loneliness, okay, you need to deal with this on your own, or if you break down in the most ridiculous place, it's going to show you what you need to learn, basically life skills, personality improvements. I see a lot of that. If you need to focus on music, it'll like give you the space for that. Those are the main things that I've felt is mostly personal growth. What I've learned with this van is to not be shy to express certain things. If I have an image in my mind, not to like accommodate others, just to express what I fully want to express. And some things might be more visual than practical, and still like going towards that because that's what I'm feeling inside of me, and not catering to someone else. I really went towards that in this one. And also I've just felt my skills improve in a lot of things, like woodworking. I'm really starting to be able to express myself better. This one was really like a good gift for me to be, okay, I was able to do this. And people love it. I've had a lot of people, like, it's a head turner. Like, people are like, whoa, what's this? And like that really like feeds my soul, really. It's like, it's a big thing for me, like appreciation for what I do. My dream with van life, or like building vans, would to be collaborate with artists and go into a more customization. In a way, I would like to incorporate certain carvings ingrained in the walls and things like that. I have a huge advantage that my father is a wood carver, and I would like to incorporate more extreme custom builds. And hopefully people will see that and collaborate with artists where I can have custom paintings or murals, and I have very talented friends that I would like to be able to support them and just have a very unique experience that I haven't really seen yet in the van builds, like art. I would like to incorporate both worlds of like putting really creative furniture into vans, but also vans are so hot right now. People love it, and it brings like something deep inside of them where a furniture doesn't quite get there. They can go to like Walmart and spend money on a cheap piece of furniture, and I feel like sometimes the furniture isn't quite as appreciated as a livable space when I can create that. And yeah, it brings a sparkle in people's eyes, like, what's going on in there? Do you live in there? How much is it? And like, can I do that? And then like it like sprouts a little seed in their mind, and that's what brings me fire through van life more than creating a bench. It looks, yeah. So my personal philosophy in life, I've really dove into how important community is in the last few years, where I've had the lonely van life. When I first was interviewed with you, that was like living the solo in the woods man, going through my emotions, and now I surround myself with a community where I can offer this service for people and provide this for my community. I feel like that's it's where I'm going towards. It's like surrounding myself with people and creativeness, and so that's kind of my philosophy right now. And I really would love for people to go towards their goals and inspire. That's really like, if everybody was going to what they're best at and just inspire people around each other, I feel like it would be just an amazing propagation of love. And that's what I want anyways. I will surround myself with people that I'm going to create my own little life and philosophy around me. And for now, you can follow me on Instagram or YouTube on The Life of Chance. If you're watching this video, it's because you're curious about van life and what it entails and certain builds. I would suggest you, even though I'm a van builder, I would like you to do it yourself, because I think there's so many, it's like basically a miniature house. So you're learning all these different aspects of building. You got your woodworking, you have very basic plumbing, electrical, heating. I think all those things you'll get sparks of imagination to like creating more and just learning basic things in your own home or in your van. You just understand the whole aspect around you. So I do suggest building it yourself and maybe getting a hand from friends. That will create community as well, is that you maybe do trades with someone that you're really good at something. So get someone in here and help you out. And I would really suggest you to learn. It was a great improvement in my life to understand building.
Hi everyone, hope you enjoyed this episode in the Alternative Dwelling series. If you wanted to see more, a playlist is popping up right now where you can watch every episode we've ever made. Don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button, and check out the links in the description if you want to support this channel and this show. And we'll see you next Monday for another episode of Alternative Dwellings.